Okay, Unit 4 practice test. So, it's about systems. Whenever we do systems, there's three ways to solve. There's graphing, substitution, elimination. In this case, this first one, it kind of tells you how to solve it. It's solved by graphing. The reason why graphing is the best is because they're both in y equals mx plus b form. The one that usually kind of tricks people on this one, on the practice test, is the y equals x. Just realize there's a plus 0 here, right? And our slope is 1 over 1. And don't forget for this first line, it's 2 over 1. So the first line I'm going to do in red here. Second line I'm going to do in green. Alright, so whenever we're doing this, the first line I would start at positive 2. And then go up 2, right 1, rise over run. If I can't go up 2, right 1, I can always go down 2, left 1. But I should have a positively sloped line. Okay, the other one I'm going to start at 0. That's my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. If you notice, I'll never hit that line, so I can go down 1, left 1, until it does hit the line. Remember, the intersection is where they are the solution to the system. So in this case, it would be negative 2, so 2 left, and then down 2, so it would be negative 2. And that would be the answer to that system. Don't forget, you can always plug it in and check it. So I could say negative 2 equals 2 times negative 2 plus 2. So it works for the first one. It also, in the second one, is negative 2 equals negative 2. It works. So as long as it works for both of them, you know you did it right. Number 2, solve the system. It doesn't tell you the method, but in this case, if you look at it, I would probably use substitution. I'm going to sub this in for this y right here because I have a y equals equation. So I'm going to say negative 2x plus 3 times 2/3 x plus 2 equals 6. I'm going to distribute this 3 and get 2x plus 6 and negative 2x still there. Combine my like terms. They cancel, so then I get 6 equals 6. That is a true statement, so your answer is either all real numbers or infinitely many solutions, however you want to write it. But if it's a true statement, it's all real numbers. If it's a false statement, it's no solution. So in this case, it's all real numbers because it's 6 equals 6. Estimate the solution. Well, we know the solution is where they intersect at, so I'm just looking for this point right here. It's kind of in between 1 and 2, so I'm going to say 1.5 for my x value, and then negative 4 for my y value because it's on the negative 4 line. An estimate is just a good guess. Okay, in that case, we know that's probably going to be what it is. It's in between 1 and 2. Number 4 is a word problem. You're going to have to write 2 equations. It says Luke sells toy cars for $12 each. Anytime it says $12 each or $12 per car or something like that, it's probably going to be a slope-intercept equation. So for whatever I sell it, my y equals 12x. For whenever I do my expenses, which I'll highlight in green, it's going to be y equals 3.5x plus 34. So then it says, how many cars must he sell for the revenue to be equal to his expenses? Well, if you think about this, it's really just a substitution problem. You could graph it, right? But we don't have Desmos, so we're just going to set them equal to each other. I'm going to take this and sub it in for the y, or vice versa. I could take the other one and sub it in for the other y. Doesn't matter how you do it. We should end up solving it like this. And I get 8.5x equals 34 divided by 8.5. I get x equals 4. So when will the revenue be equal to the expenses? The answer is C. Little test taking strategy. If you don't get an answer that's on the multiple choice, you know you probably messed up and you need to redo it. Number 5, this is what the solution to the system. I don't know if you noticed, but it's already set up for elimination. Alright, so these eliminate just by adding together. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. 14 minus 32 is negative 18. I divide by negative 1. I get y equals 18. So then I'm going to take that and I'm going to sub it into one of the equations. To me, the top one's a little bit easier than the bottom one, but it doesn't matter which one you plug it into. And when I say plug it in, I'm plugging it in for the y because that's what I solved for first. So I get 2x plus 5 times 18 is going to give me 90. I'm going to subtract the 90. Get negative 36, divide by 2. I get negative 38. Again, you could always plug it in and check it. Make sure you write your answer as a coordinate pair, a point. X is first, y is second. Next one says, what's the solution to the system? Again, it's probably set up for elimination just because they're both in standard form. But notice this one's not as easy to start off with elimination. You have to multiply the equations. To me, the y's are easier just because one's a positive, one's a negative already. So I'm going to multiply this one by 3. because that would give me 6. This is going to multiply this one by 2 because that would also give me 6. That's what I want with the y's to be the same. So I multiply everything by 3. I get that. I multiply everything by 2. And the second one, I get that. So then I'm going to add them together. Those are going to cancel. I get 23x equals 15. I divide by 23. I get x equals 5. Now I'm going to take that and plug it back into an equation. Doesn't matter which one. Since it's the last one I plugged in the top one, I'm going to plug it into the bottom one. Say 4 times 5 minus 3y equals 44. So that gives me 20 minus 3y equals 44. Subtract 20. Negative 3y equals 24. I divide by negative 3. I get y equals negative 8. So again, write it as an ordered pair. My answer is 5, negative 8. Number 7, a little different word problem, but pretty similar. You're going to have an x and a y. So I know it's going to be 6x plus 4y equals 37. The other one's going to be 4x plus 6y equals 33. Just realize that your x is pizza. Your y is drinks. So it says how much does one drink cost. So if I'm going to solve for one of them, I want to solve for the y value, which means I probably should eliminate the x values. So I'm going to eliminate the x values here, just kind of save us some work. In this case, they have 12 in common, so multiply that one by negative 2 and that one by 3, just as long as one's negative, one's positive. So then I would get 10y equals 25 after I eliminate. Divide by 10, you get y equals 250. Well, hopefully that's one of the answers. And it is. So again, test taking strategy, hopefully your answer shows up. Number 8, it says it's 5-4 solution to the system. Select all that apply. I'm going to plug in 5-4 for the x and the y and see if it works. So in this case, I'm going to replace the x with 5, the y with 4, and see if it equals 9. It works for the first. So remember, in order to be in solution, it has to work for both of them. So now I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to say 4 equals 1/5 times 5 plus 3. Well, that's 1 plus 3, which is 4 equals 4. So that works. So we know it works for both of them, so it is a solution of the system. I plug in the other one. I say 5 plus 4 equals 1. That's 9 equals 1. It doesn't work, so it doesn't work for B. On the test, there will be 4 of those. Just make sure you're checking into every single one of them before you do that. Number 9, it says, which method would you use to solve this system? Please give evidence for why you picked your method. Describe any pre-work you would need to do to use your method. So it's kind of up to you on how you want to do it. You can use either method. You can do graphing. Okay, if you're going to do graphing, you need to convert it to y equals mx plus b, which is kind of difficult because neither one of them is in y equals mx plus b form. So to me, that's a little bit tougher. Substitution you can also do, but you need to solve one of the equations for x or y. So I'd probably take this one and solve it for x. And then you could sub it into the other equation. Or you could do elimination, which I think is the easiest in this case. But you're going to have to multiply one of the equations, or both of the equations, to get it to cancel out, aka eliminate. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 2. There are multiple methods to this, so it's kind of hard for me to explain every single one in this practice test. Just realize that you can use any method as long as you understand how to do it and can explain it in your own words. The Desmos portion, number 10, we're just going to graph on Desmos. So if I go to Desmos, I type those in. So the first one was y equals 2x minus 4. The second one was y equals 1/3 x plus 7, I believe. So now I just got to figure out where they intersect at. And really all you're doing, you don't even have to show work or anything like that. You just type it in. Just realize the solution is where they intersect. And I would write down that solution to this system. So I would just go back to this and I would type in 6.6, 9.2, or write it down, type it in. Okay, number 11, it's also Desmos. We're going to just graph it. Nice thing about Desmos is you don't have to convert it to slope-intercept form before you graph it. It does all that work for you. So we're going to go back to this. We're going to type in our two new equations. Negative 5x plus y equals negative 2. And we're going to do the other one, which is going to be 3y minus 15x equals 36. Well, I don't know if you noticed about these equations, but they are parallel. So parallel is a specific type of answer. Realize that if they're parallel, they're never going to touch, or they're going to have a solution. Hopefully you're sitting there saying no, so there's no solution. Remember, if it's just one line, so this is parallel lines. If it's just one line, aka they're the same line, it's going to be infinitely many solutions, or all real numbers, however you want to write it. And then we have our last problem, which is a word problem. It says Kelly and Keegan are each saving money for a new phone. Kelly has saved $150 and continues to add $10 each week. So again, each week tells me that I'm going to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So that is Kelly's right there. Keegan, he doesn't have any money saved, but he's going to save $25 a week. So he has 0 if you want to write a plus 0. That's kind of up to you. It says in how many weeks will they have the same amount of money. So I'm going to go back to Desmos because this is Desmos portion. I'm going to type in those two equations. Y equals 10x plus 150. I'm going to say y equals 25x. I'm going to zoom out so I can figure out where they intersect at. I can drag it all the way up if I need to. And I realize, oh, they intersect at 10, 250. Well, I have to know 10, 250. What does the x value represent? What does the y value represent? Well, hopefully you're sitting there saying the x value is the number of weeks, and the y value is the amount of money they saved. So that's why we asked these two questions. It says in how many weeks? We know that's going to be 10 weeks. They will have the same amount of money. And it says what amount of money will they have each saved? Well, that would be $250. We're just asking you to interpret this point and know that x is going to be our weeks because that was the x in the equations, and y is the money because that's the y in the equations. All right, and that is the practice test. If you have any other questions, make sure you come in and study. But yeah, very similar to the actual test.